So here's a category, right? And on any given category, you've got a sidebar right here, okay? You've got a H1, you've generally got an H2. You might have a little bit of text here, right? And then generally right here, you have your category content, okay? And in some cases, you'll have pagination down here. And then, for example, let's say that this is your URL right here. So here's your category, and the first thing you want to think about is what's your keyword assignment for your category. Okay, so you're going to assign anywhere from 3 to 5 keywords to that category, and you're going to make sure that for those keywords, say this is keyword 1 and this is keyword 2, that you're using these throughout the category in the most important way. Okay, so let's start from the top. So example.com / you're going to be putting in your keyword here in the URL, okay? You're gonna wanna have your keyword in the H1, right? You're gonna wanna have your keyword in the H2. If you have a little bit of additional copy right here, you're gonna wanna have your keywords inside of the copy at the top. You don't wanna have too much copy because you don't wanna push down the products or whatever is in there too far, because then that's really gonna hurt your conversion rates. You might have a optimized image right here. And then that image, you're going to want to make sure that the alt text, the caption, and the image URL, right, that's inside of the code, all have that same keyword one inside of it as well, right? Not being spammy about it, but those things are there for a reason, right? So you want to make sure that you have that in there. Now, for these things on the page, your actual page content, this is really important that you have this be at least 70% unique. So a big mistake that a lot of people make is they'll create a ton of categories and then they put the same content into every single category. That creates something called doorway pages, which Google doesn't like, right? So we want to make sure that the content in the category is at least 70% unique. Usually a good rule of thumb is if you have one thing that you're going to categorize, you only put it in 1 to 4 categories, right? And if you do that, then it's going to make it so that it's generally unique enough, right? So you want to make sure that this is about 70% unique right here. And you want to make sure that whatever is in here is relevant to this keyword, right? So when Google crawls this page, they're going to look at the URL, the H1, the H2, the copy. Then they're going to look at this, and this counts as HTML for the page. And what they're going to think to themselves is, okay, do these products or do these branding things or this content from the content site, does it align to the main topic, okay? If it does, that page is going to rank higher. If it doesn't, it's going to rank lower. Also, they'll come back and recheck this page often, and they'll see how fresh is this content, right? How recently has this been updated, right? If it comes back and there's 5 new news articles or 5 new products in there that hasn't crawled before, that's going to give you a bump, okay? So that's the basic there. Also, you'll often see that a lot of people put some copy at the bottom, important facts, figures, information. They might link to blog posts that they've written on the topic. They might link to other important pages on the website so they can really build what we call a hub of content surrounding this, right? So it's nice if for your top level categories, they link to information that is either subcategories or more longer tail info. And then that's going to allow that to build up more content authority for that page. Okay, now getting a little bit technical, we're down to what is right here is the pagination, right? So when it comes to pagination inside of a category structure, there's really a couple different ways you can do it. So there's something called rel next rel prev, and that tells Google that this is the current page, this is the previous page, and then this is the next page. That's a great way to do it. There's also something called Rel Canonical. And so in a lot of cases, people will map all of these pages, right? Page 2, 3, 4, and 5, all back to this guy, right? Which is the main page, example.com / keyword. And that's a really good way to do it as well. Also, in some cases, people will look at this and they will no index and no follow. Whoops, they will no index, and they will no follow the additional pages. And in some cases, what that means, they tell Google don't index it and don't follow those links. That can actually be really good for larger sites because it limits the crawl in some cases. So like one thing that's a big issue is if you have like hundreds and hundreds of pages of pagination, and it's similar content in this stream of pagination as to another category, that can create a lot of duplicate content. It can create a problem for Google because they have to crawl so many additional pages. So you want to be really deliberate about the way you do this. Another option is the no index follow. So Google knows not to index any of these pages, but to follow the links. Really, there's no best way to do it. I've actually done studies on this, and I've seen there's a lot of different ways that you can rank, right? What I've seen most people do generally is they'll do the Rel Canonical option, or they will do the Rel Next Rel Prev. For me, the most important thing is just making sure that the content inside of the category is quality and it's unique, right? And if you're going to have pages and pages and pages of pagination, that might not be the best thing to do with Rel Next Rel Prev unless it is totally unique. Okay? All right, so that's pagination. Now let's jump into this, which is the nav, right? So pretty much any category has a navigation on this side. And the navigation, in some cases, it's in HTML, and in other cases, it's not. In other cases, it might be in JavaScript, or it might be in Ajax or something like that. So generally, when you have this navigation for SEO, you really have to take a look at it, okay? And you have to analyze it. So if it's in HTML, you either need to block it or you need to optimize it, because those are pages on your website that Google's looking at, right? These are your subcategories. And big sites, like, some of the sites that I've worked on are like the biggest e-commerce sites on the internet, right? They will have gone through and optimized every single subcategory. Then the next level down, the next level down. I've done optimizations down 6, 7 levels deep, right? Other ones, they will completely forget about it and don't even realize they need to optimize that. And then other ones will have what they call this facet navigation. And that can be very good too. So what that means is that's more of something that was created for the user, right? Not necessarily the search engines. And generally, when you click on a facet navigation, you're going to see some really good quick action. And you'll know that it's facet navigation if you disable JavaScript. And if you disable JavaScript and all the navigation goes away and things stop executing, then you know that you have a facet navigation going on there. Now, what a lot of people do is they no index, no follow it, right? So that's an option. You can no index it, or you can Rel Canonical all of this so that it just goes back to this main URL. The whole goal is to bring quality, right? Main quality to this page, right? So that Google doesn't get confused. So those are a couple options that you can do. And then a third one is what they'll do is they'll put it so that if you click on anything here, it goes behind a hashtag, right? So in search engines, with search engines, Google and other search engines, they'll crawl everything until this hashtag, and then they won't crawl anything after the hashtag unless there is an exclamation mark right there. This exclamation mark optimization was something that used to work in the past. It was called the escape fragment optimization for Ajax websites. That is gone now. That's been discontinued. It's going to be around for like another year where Google will still kind of honor it and look at it, but for now it's gone, or at least going to be gone soon. So these are some of the most important things for category optimization. I mean, other things that you can think about is international SEO, right? If you have the same category on another website, have you map that together with hreflang tags? For example, if you have a US site or a Canada site, or if you have a US subdomain or a Canada subdomain or a US directory, Canada directory, have you map those things together correctly with hreflang tags and things like that. I recommend you watch the video on international SEO. That's also part of this YouTube playlist if you want to learn more about that. So some of the basics here, I hope that this was interesting to you, and I hope you learned a little bit about category optimization and search engine optimization today. This is really the basics. It actually is a pretty advanced topic, and when you get into subcategories more and more, and you get into the specific pieces of content that are in here, how well do they relate? How do you make them relate to the main keyword? It can be pretty interesting. And if you make just a few tweaks to your categories and you do it right? And this is one of the things I love. If you push that live, you're going to see over weeks and months that you start getting much more traffic there, right? So stuff to keep in mind, and I hope this is interesting to you. I can't wait to see you for the next video. I hope you have a good day.